Very good morning. Welcome to Chartbusters. Well, there are plenty of stocks that are buzzing around today. The rupee is moved to the low point of the day, so we are seeing good strength out there, sub that 73 odd mark, and the screen is telling you that the bulls, they are roaring away. It's their day, Mangalam. The bears, they're running for cover. What a start to the week, and what an end it's likely to be to the week. If you had a short position, you ought to be worried right now.
You ought to be worried, and there are a lot of short positions, 67% at last count. But tell you what, we keep talking about the red and the green lines, those interconnected lines. Right now, what is intersecting is the rupee and the crude. The rupee as well as the crude, both of them absolutely same price. So both of them are actually looking at each other, perhaps, locked in an embrace. And the interconnectedness of crude cannot be emphasized on more. The crude prices are lower, the demand for dollars come down, the rupee strengthens, and when petrol prices come down, people believe the sentiment for cars also improves, and we're seeing all the auto stocks move higher as well. There it is, 72.84 on the Brent and similar amount on the rupee. It's good to see that there are puts being written. 2-3 days ago, when we were looking at that big tussle between the government as well as the RBI, the VIX was at 22.5, and from there it's come to 18, and there we have it, the closest put 10,500. That one in just the first hour of this trade has added close to 8 lakh shares in open interest. That's telling you there is firm support. So yes, bulls are indeed roaring.
Yeah, that's right, Mangalam. Just take a look there. Building on that, actually, as we speak, the Nifty is up close to around 180 points odd, and a lot of stocks are participating. You saw some of those stocks that got absolutely beaten down. They're moving higher. The likes of JSW Steel. Now, that stock corrected all the way to around 330 rupees from around 420 rupees. That's moving higher. Ultratech Cement as well is moving higher. There is some buzz that some part of India could be looking at pushing through a price hike. So keep an eye out on that. That stock as well is moving higher. Adani Ports is moving higher. And various other stocks, Maruti's numbers, well, they were disappointing yesterday. That stock's moved higher as well. So pretty good going. All cylinders firing. And we're moving higher as we speak. Good going.
Good going. So let's start that on the good note. We have all the top stories that we're tracking. The big story, Brent crude slips below $73 per barrel. Back on the back of record output from the US and Russia. Oil-sensitive stocks like paints, oil marketing companies, aviation, even tires, all of them flying in trade.
And Motors rallies despite continued weakness seen in Royal Enfield sales. The commercial vehicle sales rise 14% on a year-on-year basis. Hero Motors total sales surged 16%, while Bajaj Auto's October sales numbers cross 5 lakh units.
Stocks reacting to a good set of results. DLF reports net sales booking at 625 crore rupees. For SRF, profits rise 47% year-on-year, while for GNFC, the margins have increased by 1.4%.
And other stocks are in focus. IGL reacts positively to the Supreme Court order. They will be buying Haryana City Gas Distribution. HCC rallies as well as the company writes off the entire investment of around 1,040 crores in Lavasa.
Key results to watch out for today. We have Axis Bank analysts expect slippages to rise versus the previous quarter. Hindalco expected to report a weak quarter from the oil and gas space. Profits for IOC are likely to fall 30%. Cross-refining margins also likely to come off.
Well, this market's on fire, actually. Barring IT, every other stock is moving higher. Ultratech Cement is, is zipping away now. The couple of ferrous names as well, Tata Steel, JSW Steel. Remember, these have all been shorting candidates in the last, in the last couple of months or so. All of them moving higher as we speak. Adani Ports as well has moved up. And Tata Motors, that is down nearly around 40% from last Diwali to this Diwali. That stock as well is moving high. The results didn't look that great, but now, in fact, maybe the valuation catch-up and the likes. That's the reason why that one's moving higher. Reliance Industries among the big boys. That as well is moved up, giving it company HDFC. So both those two constitute nearly around 13, 14, more than that actually, 15% of the total index. Both of them moving higher as we speak. And
when the markets move higher, people stop talking about valuations as well, because when they go lower, they say that, okay, these stocks are trading at premium valuations. So talk about FMCG. Marico reported an inline set of numbers yesterday, but the street believes that going forward, the margins may improve. So that stock is up 6% as we speak. Nestle, one of the most expensive in the FMCG pack, currently trading at around 10,250 at the high point of the day. We have Castrol too. Remember, yesterday the management spoke to us, said that margins are likely to improve going forward. This quarter was bad. Street is definitely looking forward. So in fact, let's get across to Ashwini and let's see what his sense is. Ashwini, we've been building on to the gains all through the morning. Do you think there's still room for more, or maybe one should pause for breath?
Well, my sense is that you need to get in now if you are not in, because the entire macro has changed in the last week, and because we had underperformed because of the macros, now we are going to outperform. And one interesting thing is that HDFC Bank and Kotak have not really participated, and they are due for some big runs. So maybe another couple of hundred on the bank nifty today itself may not be out of order, because both these guys are now just beginning to move on. And the big shorts are slowly covering. My sense is the way this market has moved in 1 week, this rally may cross the 200-day moving average. So that people should remember, the way things move out of the box, that is the way things generally tend to progress. Given the short positions, we've had 3 200-point moves on the Nifty. I wouldn't be surprised if you get a few more, and next week itself you get to 11,000. So don't be too eager to jump out, because you may get a couple of more gap ups, and then you find it difficult to come back in. Having said that, individual stocks, Tata Steel is a buy with a stop of 565, target of 590. Maruti is a buy with a stop of 68.50, target of 71.50. And Bajaj Finance is a buy with a stop of 24.20, target of 25.40.
Okay, all right. Thanks so much for that, Ashwini. Well, the markets are moving higher. The 200 DMA that Ashwini was talking about is at around 10,765. We're currently at around 10,560 odd. So keep an eye on that. We're nearly 200 points away from the 200 DMA. But Mangalam, I saw a flash that came up. A Jubilant Food, the promoters have created some more pledge out there.
That's right, and that's not good news, because when the company says things are not looking good, the last thing that you want is for the promoters to go ahead and pledge their stake, which any which way over the last 5-6 years has decreased to sub 45%. I was just looking through some data, Nigel. Over the last 3 quarters, the promoters pledge stake has increased quite a lot. So as of June, it stood at around 10.4. Rather, as of March, it stood at 10.4. Then the next quarter, it came at around 11.2. And the end of previous quarter, it came at around 14. Add to that, they're pledging more shares, and the stock is pretty close to record highs. In the sense that it's moved from 700 pre-bonus all the way up to 2,800. Right now, it's trading at around 2,200 pre-bonus. So at higher levels, promoters creating a pledge, not good news.
Okay, all right. So that's about Jubilant Food. But let's move on. Let's get our first management in. Dwarike Sugar. That's the stock in focus. Remember, the numbers weren't great, but the stock, in fact, is buzzing in today's trading session. It's moving higher, I think, as we speak. Remember, Q2 numbers, well, the profitability declined by more than 50%. But to discuss the way forward, we have Mr. Vijay Banka, the MD of the company, who joins us. Hi, Mr. Banka. Thanks so much, sir, for joining in. I was looking at some details. In the last quarter, the average realization had come down to what? Sub 3,200 odd levels. Sugar prices, I believe, have moved higher. What's the outlook in terms of pricing, as well as give us some kind of guidance for this year in terms of volumes?
Sure. Very good morning. This quarter, as it is the second quarter, is a little challenging quarter for the sugar industry because it's an off-season quarter. Additionally, we have had to face triple whammy of lower sugar prices, lower sugar sales, and of course, abysmally low realization on sale of molasses. So these 3 factors combined to pull down our profitability. But having said that, interesting things have happened in the last few weeks. Governments have announced, both state government and the central government have announced some schemes on the back of which the sugar prices are looking a little firm. And the state government has also announced a soft loan scheme for liquidating the cane arrears of the farmers. They have also announced a subsidy of about 4 rupee 50 paisa per quintal for the sugar mills who are going to complete their payment before the November end. So interesting things on the anvil, and we are cautiously optimistic. The sugar trade balance also seems little different as compared to what it was in June. June we had our association had estimated a production of 35.5 million tons for the season 2018-19. Now that estimate has come down to 32 million tons. And globally also, from a surplus of around 8 to 10 million tons last season, we are looking at a minuscule surplus this year, mainly because a lot of sugarcane juice in Brazil has been used for making ethanol. Their currencies is kind of appreciated. And even in India, the estimates have been scaled downwards. So we have to be watchful. We have to see what kind of sugarcane price the government of Uttar Pradesh announces. So there are multiple factors. We will on our part, we will strive to achieve the loftiest standards of efficiency. And as a company, we are virtually debt-free. So we hope things get better in the quarters to come.
What was the price you said? Last quarter realizations were 3,151 per quintal. Now, how much is it, sir?
Now it's around 3,250 to 3,200.
Okay, and you're sitting on 8.2 lakh quintals of sugar, so we'll value the inventory that way. Mr. Banka, moving away from sugar to ethanol, that was one division that showed a sharp amount of improvement. From 1.6 crores, the revenue went up to about 11 crores. The important question is, how much of this was on account of higher production? How much of this was on account of higher pricing? And more importantly, what is your capacity utilization in ethanol right now? What's a sustainable run rate for ethanol revenue and earnings going forward?
Well, this is one area we are not optimally integrated. Our capacity is at 30,000 liters per day. We intend to scale it up to 1 lakh liters per day, which is when we will be optimally integrated. Ethanol realization has been good, and we have sold a lot of ethanol in the last 2 quarters, which is why we have seen this segment showing impressive results. But having said that, I still feel that there is a lot of scope. Once going forward we increase the capacity, this segment will be an exciting segment to watch.
Is something structurally changing in the ethanol space, Mr. Banka? Because, there have always been talks in the past that there would be higher ethanol blending, and that usually happens when the petrol prices are high. Now the petrol prices have come off a little bit from record highs, but do you think this time it's for real and something is structurally changing? What is the industry blend of ethanol and other fuel, and what is the regulation right now?
Well, ethanol blending, the government is very actively encouraging ethanol blending for 2 reasons. One is, it kind of supports the sugar industry, and secondly, it helps the government in, its dependence on the imported fuel comes down. So these are 2 reasons why the government is encouraging blending of ethanol. Now, from a when the program was started way back in 2003-04, the response was not all that encouraging. The sugar mills were also facing transactional issues, and the oil marketing companies were also not very keen. But with the kind of impetus the government has given to this program, we have this year we should see close to about 9 to 9.5% blending happening. And the aim is to go, improve this blending percentage going forward.
Okay, all right. Final question, Mr. Banka. Before we let you go, you are saying that your capacity is 30,000 liters per day in terms of ethanol, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what is your current capacity utilization? You were talking about taking it from around 30 to 1 lakh. So how much of money will you require?
30,000 to we will require about capex of about 35 to 145 crores of rupees. And, there are schemes. The government has got schemes for providing interest at lower rates. So I don't visualize, I don't envisage any kind of problems on that.
So 130 crores is what you require to increase this capacity.
130 to 150.
By when do you take this capacity up? And more importantly, 30,000 is the capacity now. How much are you functioning at capacity utilization?
We are presently utilizing our capacity fully, because since we follow the biocomposting route presently, our utilization is restricted to our working number of days are restricted to 270. Okay. But once we do our capacity expansion, we do 100 KL, 1 lakh liters of capacity.
When then we will have the new capacity will come on stream by, Mr. Banka?
Well, we have made all applications. We have applied for the loan. We have also sought all statutory approvals. We are in the process of obtaining all statutory approvals. So we will take a call in the next 1 month or so.
All right. Wish you good luck, Mr. Banka. Thanks a lot for joining in. With that, we slip into a short break, come back. The other stock on our radar is Somani Ceramics on the back of a rather weak second quarter earnings. We'll get chatting with Abhishek Somani, the MD, on the other side.